Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Real Riff podcast. My name is Bill Markey, and I'm all alone, trying something new here for the first time. I'm doing a solo episode without Tommy. I miss him dearly. This is something we did talk about doing, that we would do some solo episodes here and there. You know, sometimes it's, could be a little tough scheduling with each other between work and school, and I have wrestling as well. So, some different stuff comes up, and what are you going to do? So why not record a solo episode here and there? And on top of that, if there's just something that we relate to maybe more than the other, then this is a good time for, us to talk about, in this case, me. So, for example, this episode, I'm going to talk about Jackass. So, Jackass, specifically best and last. So for those who are maybe watching on YouTube, there's the poster. All right. Now, I really should have that behind me. I know. I've got my bear poster. I've got my Terrifier figures, my Sienna Shaw figure. Isn't she beautiful? I know. If you're just listening to this, you're like, what the hell is he talking about? But anyways, that's for the YouTube people. So I don't know if you can hear that. I just cracked a can of Ghost Energy, and I'm ready to go. So Tommy's not really that connected, if at all, to the Jackass franchise. The Jackass franchise is a big part of my upbringing, which sounds crazy. But Jackass as a television show came around in 2000, and it didn't have this... It's like The Honeymooners, where The Honeymooners, I believe, had 36 episodes total. That's it, 36. And we look at it as this legendary and such an influential show because it is. Now, Jackass, they were only around for like barely 2 years when it comes to television. I believe they had 2 seasons, maybe 3 on MTV, and I was watching them from the jump. I don't know exactly who showed it to me or how I got into it. I know a friend of mine when I lived in Queens, we definitely used to, as we would say, play Jackass. So we were trying to do our own versions of what they were doing, imitate them. Shout out to my dad, Steve. He always reminded me a little bit of Phil Margera, and Bam was my guy watching that show. So the way that Bam abused Phil, that was me with my dad, running into the room and just smacking him and pushing him around and messing with him. Like, Bam was a big influence on me. Now, I even remember my baseball coach, Marco, pulled us aside, a bunch of us, and he really talked to us for real about, like, to stop imitating these guys. I remember him and another coach were like, you guys are going to get hurt. It's going to affect our season. Like, you can't be doing this, because we would do silly shit to each other. Nothing like on the level of what those guys did. We were 10 and 11 years old. We were just being stupid. But I remember sneaking into the first one in 2002. I was barely 12 years old, if that. And I remember my friend Brendan and we went to go see it. I think his mom bought us a movie ticket for something else, and then she walked us in to Jackass instead. My parents were in on it. They knew I loved it. We sat in there at 12 years old seeing this movie by ourselves, dying, absolutely dying in our seats. And since then, now, flash forward, to think that was 2002. Now, we are 24 years later. Like, holy shit, 24 years, and the best and last Jackass movie has come out. Now, the most recent one just came out June 26th. So, and I went to go see this with Kim and the infamous KIM, and we loved it. We had a fantastic time. And there's something that I heard one of my favorite critics say recently, CR, Chris Ryan from The Town, The Big Picture. He said that Jackass, as he was talking about it with Sean Fennessy and Amanda Dobbins, he said, Jackass is pure cinema, if you think about it. Now, look, is it a movie? Is it really a movie? Okay, debatable. But when he said that and he started to get into it a little bit, it made absolute sense to me. It is pure cinema in the sense of when you watch a Jackass movie, you're going to go through every emotion possible that you can experience in a movie theater, all in one. You're going to laugh, probably to the point of crying. You're going to be horrified. You're going to be grossed out. You're going to be scared at what's coming next. You're going to be grabbing the person next to you or looking around the theater like, holy shit, can you believe we're all seeing this right now? Are they really doing this for real? So you'll be in shock. You'll be in awe. You'll be amazed by what you see. You'll be in disbelief until you see the thing take place, until you see the stunt happen. You'll be like, no way, no way. Now, when you think about all those reactions, you can attach just some of those maybe to one movie, like a horror movie. You're like, oh yeah, I was scared. I was terrified. Maybe I laughed a little bit. But you can't attach all of those emotions necessarily just to one movie. But with Jackass, you can. And that's incredible. Now, with these guys, I mean, they've been at this for years. They're like in their late 40s, like early 50s. So with this movie, with Jackass, Best and Last, this one, it was more it wasn't fully new stuff completely. They mixed in some of their best hits, which I enjoyed watching, even though I've seen these clips a lot. Seeing them on the big screen again, I thoroughly enjoyed. They also showed us some never before seen stunts that they did. And I'm going to get into a couple of them right now. So spoilers. For example, this movie starts, and again, spoilers, with Johnny Knoxville with a never before seen stunt where he's got a bulletproof vest. He's got, I think, 4 Hustler magazines. They're all stacked against his chest. And he shoots himself, like with a revolver, I believe. He's holding the gun in front of himself, at arm's length, shoots himself in the chest. And I thought this guy was fearless from the shows and the movies that I saw. And then the first thing he's ever doing is shooting himself. Like, it's crazy. I mean, call it stupid, call it commitment. I don't know. And then there was another skit that had me dying that apparently, I'm going to butcher this a little bit. I believe he said this skit not only cost MTV a lot of money, but they also couldn't film for like 10 years, I believe, in Los Angeles or in a certain part of Los Angeles where he is in an Orange County orange jumper, and he goes into, this is Knoxville, a hardware store, and he asks for a hacksaw. They call the cops. This cop, she frantically gets out of her car so quickly to where she forgets to put the car in park, and the car goes into a lamppost. Like, this was crazy. And Knoxville, Tremaine, I guess, was there. Jeff Tremaine, the director, had to explain that this was all for a show. It was all stunt. Like, I mean, you got to say one thing. These guys are committed. Judge the franchise or not, however you want to judge it, these guys are committed. What can't be denied, however, is that these movies make fucking money. So pulled up in front of me right now, I have the Jackass films with their budget and their worldwide gross. So Jackass the movie 2002, its budget's $2 million, its worldwide gross is 64.28. Jackass number 2 in 2006, $11 million. 72.78 was their worldwide gross. Jackass 3D 2010, $20 million budget. You can see how the budgets are going up. They're willing to spend more money. Its worldwide gross was $117.23 million. The 3D craze was a big boost. Now, a little bit of an offshoot. Jackass Presents Bad Grandpa in 2013. Budget of $15 million. Worldwide gross, $102. Jackass Forever in 2022. $10 million budget. $57.74 million. And right now, Jackass Best and Last 2026. $10 million. Right now, it's closing in on 20, I believe. So you got to give them credit. They know what they're doing. This still works. And what's amazing about Jackass is it's been going on for, when you count the show, 26 years. We're going on almost 30 years of Jackass. So this was something that belonged, still does, to me when I was a kid. But clearly, I mean, it looks like all generations are going to see this. So even like right now, they're aware of what Jackass is. And also, I'm thinking maybe Jackass resonates with this generation because they were like the first ever, in a way, I guess, TikTokers. They were the first ever YouTubers to do silly shit before TikTok and YouTube even existed, before social media really ever existed. These were the guys who were doing the things that a lot of these TikTokers and YouTubers are doing right now. And these, people like I Show Speed, the Paul brothers, I mean, they're on top of the world right now. And then some of these people are just doing stupid shit, but they're getting paid millions for it. So when you look at Jackass, I mean, you can say it's a bunch of idiots just doing these mindless stunts. They're just, kicking each other in the nuts. They're just doing stupid shit. But you know what? Not only have they made a lot of money, but they've also had a huge influence. And I mean, that just can't be denied. I mean, Johnny Knoxville has another movie coming out later this year. I mean, and he's on Fear Factor. I mean, Steve-O's everywhere. The other guy's not too sure exactly what they're up to. Now, one other thing, I mean, worth talking about is one thing that stuck with me from the movie is they show a skit that didn't make it to air. They were told it was, and this, I found this so fascinating. They were said that it was too impressionable. It was too easy to repeat for kids. So they decided not to air it, but they aired it in this last movie that's out in theaters right now. So they put Knoxville in a cardboard box, one that I guess maybe a decent sized air conditioner can go in. They filled it with pillows, just like pillows right from a bed. And they threw him down a flight of stairs. And he herniated 2 discs. And they definitely made the right call there. Like, that's an easy one for you to imitate. Let me just put my friend or my brother or my sister in a cardboard box with a bunch of pillows. They'll be fine. Roll them down the steps. And then when you think about on the other side of it, something as extreme as, again, Knoxville shooting himself. So obviously not every kid has access to a gun, and bulletproof vest and all that shit that they needed. But clearly they can still find a way to do some incredible, bad self-harm. But I just found it really interesting at how they decided, the more I thought about it, what made it to television and then what didn't and why. And that's not from a judgmental standpoint. Like, it was just a very curious thing. Like, oh, wow, interesting. Because even though the box is such a simple thing that you can do, there's other shit that you can emulate in Jackass easily. I know, because I used to do it. I used to do silly shit with my friend, especially growing up in Queens, constantly imitating these guys. And one other thing I found about this film, again, going back to all the emotions that it can put you through, is towards the end when they were running the credits, they were going through like another tribute of all the skits and the castmates. And I found myself dying laughing once again. But then I just started to cry a little bit too. And I don't mean like crying laughing. Granted, I was. But it was mixed in with some like actual tears. Because I thought, wow, like this is it. I mean, again, if they back the money truck up, then Paramount, I believe it is, can, I'm sure, wrangle them for another one. But the movie had some emotional beats to it. Like, there's a scene where Knoxville is tied to an electric chair, something like that, and he's on a lie detector test. And they do ask him, did you take Fear Factor for the money? And he says no, and then he gets shocked. But then they ask him, is this really the last Jackass? And he says yes, and he doesn't get shocked. And they had these little emotional beats, and it worked. I found myself actually crying a bit at the end of this movie while watching Steve-O, vomit into a porta potty. Like, it's just the fact that this is another thing now, and this is happening more and more with me recently, where these franchises that I grew up with are either coming to a close or they're nearing the end, or just seeing the fact that, like I was 5 years old, like when I saw Toy Story. Now Toy Story 5 is out. And, Woody and Buzz are no longer the main characters here. Again, I'm 10 years old when Jackass comes out. And now Jackass is winding down. Like, it's really interesting to see where this stuff is going. So I highly recommend Jackass Best and Last. Again, it's just a good palate cleanser. It's just, like, I love psychological movies. I love having to think about a movie. I love going home and talking about a movie. I love getting on here with Tommy. I love talking with Kim or my buddy Jay, whatever it is. I love debating movies. I love talking about them, breaking them down. Clearly, that's one of the reasons why I was interested in doing a podcast in the first place. But it's also really nice when you get a movie like Jackass where the only thing to really talk about is, holy shit, did you see this? Holy shit, can you believe they did that? Oh my God, that made me fucking die laughing. Holy fuck, these guys are crazy. Like, it's nice to have that type of experience. And just to have a good movie palate cleanser, as I call it. Like, on a whole side note, it's like, I know some people laugh at F1 and the fact that F1 got nominated for an Academy Award. And I loved it. And one of the reasons why I loved F1 is because it was simple. And that's not me being like, oh, I need simple movies. It's good to have a palate cleanser. It's good to just have something that you don't have to dive deep into, that you can just enjoy it for what it is. The screenplay is simple. The case of Jackass is just these guys just being ridiculous. But the screenplay is simple. It's easy to digest, and you just get to really get lost. You don't have to think about what that last scene was, or, oh, I got to remember this because it's probably going to come back at the end of the movie. It's like, no, you don't have to remember anything because Steve-O is being swished around in a porta potty that's on a gigantic slingshot and is being covered in shit. Like, you don't have to be like, all right, this may be foreshadowing something here. Like, that's what I love about Jackass. It's a really good palate cleanser. And I love movies that are palate cleansers. It doesn't have to be something as simple as this, like where they're just doing stunts, but just something as simple as Jackass. And again, I really go back to that quote that Chris Ryan said, how he legit said it's pure cinema. And the way that you roll through all of these emotions, and the fact that you can roll through all of them in one movie, when I got to think about it, is pretty rare. And you hit them to extreme levels. Like in a good horror movie, you will get some comedy. But you wouldn't sit there and be like, oh, it was, just as funny as it was freaky or gory or scary. Yes, that'll happen, but it's pretty rare. The horror usually outweighs the comedy. But in Jackass, it's like the horror and the comedy are pretty much on the same level. Now, I was going to say you're not scared of what they're doing, but you kind of are, actually. Like, you're horrified at what's happening. You got to look away. You're seeing these guys get severely hurt. You're seeing disgusting shit happening to them, literally sometimes. But then you're laughing too. Like, when I'm seeing these guys puke because another one of them is covered in shit, I am dying laughing, and I'm grossed out, and I'm horrified seeing exactly what's on the screen, but I'm here for it. And there's that extra factor when you know, oh shit, this is legit. I'm not just watching a disgusting scene that had some really good production design and nice lighting and really good acting. I'm just watching these guys be fucking lunatics. So overall, my Riff rating for Jackass, Best and Last, I'm going to give it a 9. It's just hard for me to give any movie a 10, but I'm going to give it a solid 9 because Jackass is foolproof. When people were asking me, what'd you think about Jackass? I'm like, of course I liked it. How can you not? These guys also have been doing this for so long. You know what to expect. You know the names. You know they're out of their minds. You know they're going to fucking deliver. You know that. Name a time when you watch an episode of Jackass or a Jackass movie and you're like, they didn't really go nuts in this one. They all go fucking nuts. So, anyways, little side note here. Wrangled up some interesting movie news. Now, As of this recording, we are the first week into July, but I found these things to be pretty interesting, some of which I definitely want to get into it with Tommy. Obsession update. It has cleared over $400 million. Holy shit. Congratulations, Obsession. Obsession is available on streaming. I believe it's on Apple. You can even find the director's cut. That movie was originally going to get an NC-17 rating because of, spoiler alert, the brick head smashing scene. Apparently that scene was going to be going on a lot longer. And Megan Lawless, who played Sarah, even said that, and I know I said this in our Obsession podcast, but she even said that face was supposed to like protrude more blood as if like Sarah wasn't fully dead. Speaking of Obsession, Indy Navretti, who played Nikki, apparently is eyeing a role in the MCU, specifically in the X-Men. And I'm reading rumors about her being Kitty Pryde, possibly. I could definitely see that. While we're staying with some superhero stuff here, some IP, Sebastian Stan is rumored to not be Harvey Dent, a.k.a. Two-Face in the Batman 2, especially now that there's more pictures being taken of him and his shaved head. The fact that he's working out a lot. Looks like he's playing Victor Zsasz, who is a serial killer who every time he kills somebody, he puts a tally mark into his skin with a knife. And Matt Reeves did say a while back, they're going to be going with a villain you haven't really seen yet on the big screen. And that matches up perfectly with Victor Zsasz, because Victor Zsasz has 2 scenes in Batman Begins, so we've never really got to see him. There's a scene where Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow, played by Cillian Murphy, is defending him. I think he's trying to get Zsasz to plea with the insanity plea, whatever they call it. And then at the end of Batman Begins, he is approaching Katie Holmes and a little boy with a knife, and then Batman lands on him. So Zsasz gets a couple small scenes, but that's it. The character was awesome in fucking Gotham by Anthony Carrigan, I believe his name is. He was most recently Metamorpho in Superman from last year. But I'd be so curious to see Sebastian Stan play a psycho villain like that. Minions and Monsters. So we're coming off of its opening weekend, which was the 4th of July weekend. Now, interesting, this is a wildly successful franchise, but this movie had its lowest 3-day opening at $36 million and its worst 5-day opening at $64.5 million. In more movie news, Quentin Tarantino apparently looks like he is going to be filming in summer 2027 what is to be, I believe, his final movie. Tarantino always wanted to make 10. There was rumors that this movie was going to be called The Movie Critic, but since then that has went away. Nobody knows what it is, but the quote is apparently it's something fresh. That doesn't tell us much. Anyways, in big news, the movie called Artificial, which is about the OpenAI creator Sam Altman, which is directed by Luca Guadagnino. Sam Altman is being played by Andrew Garfield, now is acquired by Neon. So Neon, making some moves, man. They will be the one distributing the film Artificial. And lastly, this is a big one that I'm going to jump into with Tommy. Sony has announced that starting in January of 2028, there's no more discs for the PlayStation. So now you might say, what does it have to do with movie news? Well, that's just another avenue where physical media is going away. So it's a trickle-down effect. I mean, we barely see Blu-rays as is. 4K is what I purchase when I do want to buy physical media. I mean, they're getting a little more expensive now. So it's a bit concerning because the thing is, when it comes to these streaming services, if a server goes down, something happens to that streaming service, that's it. That's it for your stuff. And who knows? I know technology is great. It's only getting better, but you never know. That your library goes with it. Another interesting thing is if you, let's say, are on, I don't know, let's say Prime, and you buy a movie. Like a couple years ago, I was going to go rent The Revenant. Instead, I bought it for like $5. Now, if Amazon stops carrying The Revenant, I lose the movie. They take it off Prime. My purchase is gone. It's only in my library for however long Amazon has it. So even if I purchase that thing for $20, if Amazon gets rid of it, I lose it. No money back, nothing. And that's where, amongst many reasons why physical media is important, Christopher Nolan has tried to remind people that you can never truly transfer the film perfectly to these streaming services. Meaning if you want the most authentic, crystal clear cut version, whatever you want to call it, of the film you're watching, get a physical media version of it. Get a DVD, I don't even know about the DVDs remade. I don't know why I said that, but the Blu-ray, specifically you have a 4K. Like you'll look on Disney Plus and it'll say, watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on 4K. It's never truly 4K. Plus, what type of TV are you watching it off of? So physical media is a good way to ensure that you have the movie that you love. And again, some of these are getting a little more expensive, so I don't buy them too often. But I know, like when I saw F1, first thing I thought when that movie was over, other than, fuck you, Tommy, I love this movie, is I thought, okay, I got to buy that on 4K because I have a nice big flat screen TV. I thought, okay, I've got the 4K hookup. I've got the PlayStation 5. So I had to. But again, like this is an interesting thing. It's a bit scary because even though this is video games, it still represents another step towards just going completely digital and getting rid of just physical copies of the media that we love. So thought that was worth covering. I'm looking forward to talking to Tommy about that, getting into a little deeper because there is more to it. I'm only scratching the surface with it. Curious to see what he thinks. Then, as for now, there's that poster for those of you listening or watching on YouTube. What is the poster exactly? Let's describe it for those who are just listening. It is Steve-O with firecrackers in his asshole. And he's screaming. He's naked. His feet are in the sky. There's fireworks going on around him, and there's fireworks coming legit out of him. So, I love Jackass. I love this movie. I love this franchise. Obviously, this goes without saying, you don't have to have seen the other ones to go see this one, especially this one, because there's a lot of different tributes to old skits from the television show and the previous movies. So, if you want to have a good time, if you've seen Obsession, that was something that was dark and gritty and psychological, or you saw something as shitty as Supergirl, and you're like, you know what? I just need something to cleanse the palate here. Go see Jackass. You're going to laugh. You're going to be horrified. You're going to look to your friend next to you, again, in shock and awe and disbelief. You're going to have a good time because it's fucking Jackass. So enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, as for now, it is just me, Bill Markey, on the Real Riff podcast. We will be back together. This was the first solo episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I did good. I could talk for days, but it's also just so weird just to be sitting here talking. But please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your mom. There's no doubt that your mom loves my setup behind me, especially my Sienna figure from Terrifier. But if she can see it, can your mom go get your mom right now and tell her, Mom, look at Sienna's figure. No, I'm sorry, look at Bill's figure. So anyway, you know who you are. Anyway, so that's it. I'm rambling. Everybody, have a great time. When you go see Jackass, best and last, you won't regret it. And we'll see you next time.